So let's talk about something that I've talked about before. There's a great study that I quote all the time by Pine and Gilmore called the Experience Economy. Last time we talked about birthday cakes, but we'll talk about coffee today. Enter the experience economy. Let's talk about just basic economic theory. If I were to sell something, what would be the categories that I would be selling? Help me here, somebody. We'll start out with what's traded on Wall Street. Start with what was traded a long time ago in Chicago. Commodities. So we've got commodities, goods, and services. Commodity, goods, and services. And think about that. Commodities trade for pennies on the dollar. Goods trade for a little more. Services for more. So I'll give you an example. Let's look at coffee. Everybody loves coffee. Does anyone have a cup here? Is it Starbucks or? Yeah? I don't know. So coffee. If I'm going to buy just coffee beans, unground, unroasted, as a commodity, how much do they cost? Just a little bit, right? Even if I'm just going to buy coffee. And then suddenly, that's pennies on the dollar. And then we'll just take it back 20 years. The good people at all these food manufacturers, we can roast it, we can grind it, we can put it in a can. And how much does a can of Folgers, of Maxwell House, cost? Even now, let's just talk about how much does it cost to get a regular can of coffee? $3.75. And you get how many pots or cups out of it?
I don't know how many pots you get out of it. They last a week in our house.
Oh, a lot of cups.
Yeah.
We'll just, the unscientific number of a lot of cups. We're not doing rigorous analysis on that one. Let me go back, sorry. And then people had a different, we can start a store and start selling coffee. So you have CK's Coffee Shop. They have those here. Little coffee shops. And those cost what, $1? $1.50? I think the dollar was really the line that you couldn't cross for a cup of coffee. You mean I got to pay more than $1 when it went up to $1.20? But then enter from nowhere Starbucks, and suddenly everybody can come and pay for what they had to create a new phrase for it. Do you remember what that phrase was, anybody? An affordable luxury. I am worth it. I can spend $2.85 on a regular coffee. And even the language that they use, it's not just an extra big coffee or a big gulp, but what is the big one called? A venti, right? And then there's the grande. You just feel good. It's exotic. It brings up something in the human psyche, which is fascinating. But they didn't just think about the coffee, they thought about the whole experience. They did all the shapes, all the iconography, all the sounds. They have a certain brand of music that they play. So everything is orchestrated. Every touch point, if you will, has been brought to consciousness to realize the value of that organization. Keep that in mind. And what they did is they brought out the potential of their customer base. Suddenly, little Michael Graber, who'd only had Maxwell House from Tennessee, now in Mississippi, can get this imported coffee. And it comes from where? From Kenya. And where else? From every continent, right? How wonderful and evocative. It opens me up to the world. It's a geography lesson. It's fascinating, but they have tapped something in me. And then all of a sudden, I consumed the Starbucks coffee. Does anybody remember their first taste of really fine coffee? I don't care if it came from Seattle's Best but oh my goodness. Can I ever buy Maxwell House again unless I'm down and out and have to buy it on food stamps? Oh no. So I have to buy it at the grocery now. And instead of spending $3.49 on Maxwell House, I spend $9.89 on Starbucks because I'm part of this whole world. I have eaten it, and therefore I am what I eat, meaning I have consumed and have been consumed. I now totally identify with them. I've become part of this community. I appreciate their mission as well. And I like the sensory experience. I can go to a little kiosk in a Kroger in some places and have a little oasis of experience. How nice. Or you can tell when they're starting to lose their mojo or lose touch of their golden thread because the person working at the Kroger Starbucks just hasn't been trained like the baristas, right? But I appreciated their social mission. They were famous for giving health benefits to part-time employees at low wages. That's really wonderful. The whole idea of loyalty.